Now I request our keynote speaker, Prof. Kidwai, Director, Nizami Quranic Center.
Before I take up the main topic, it's my privilege to express my deep felt happiness over it. The first point was that ये जो भी आपके सामने आपके तालिब आपके शोबे के तालिब सफ़ी अहमद साहब ने कुरान करीम की जो तिलावत फरमाई जिन आयात की, तो उनकी तिलावत तो तजवीज़ तो उसका हुस्न की जगह पे मैं उनको जो मुबारकबाद देता हूँ, बल्कि उनको इनाम दूँगा आपके चेयरमैन के थ्रू इनाम भी दूँगा। ये उन्होंने बहुत उम्दा किया कि बिल्कुल मुनासिब मौजू जिसके मुताबिक अभी प्रोफेसर चेयरमैन प्रोफेसर फातमी साहब ने भी उसका वजाहत की। सूरह गुजरात की आयत 8 से 11 जिसमें अभी प्रोफेसर फातमी साहब वजाहत कर चुके हैं, जिसमें अल्लाह तआला ने बिल्कुल साफ अल्फाज में, और ये सूरह गुजरात में आप सबसे दरखास्त करूँगा विद ईच वन ऑफ यू to please make a point to read and assimilate the message of this particular surah, that is Surah Gujarat, surah number 49. It is not a very long one, short surah, but full of valuable instructions about social relations, about maintaining cordial, happy life in society, with neighbors, with parents, with humanity at large. So it is a life-giving message. So first of all, Safi Ahmad, many congratulations to you on having selected such a relevant and pertinent Quranic passage which is suited best for this seminar. Next, I would compliment the department, particularly its chairman, for taking up this topic and debagging, and in the perspective, in the context of Islam, that is a highly welcome step. We all know Islamic studies is not just a branch of learning, it is not a subject. Islam is a complete way of life. It is a code of conduct. So, in the Islamic perspective, he has examined a current topic, a contemporary topic, whether at the instruction of the Vice Chancellor or whatever, but it is so gratifying, so good to know that a current topic is examined in the light of Islamic teachings. My worthy colleague, Professor Samina Khan, is here, so I will take this opportunity to request her to organize a similar program in collaboration with the Department of Islamic Studies or Center for Quranic Studies or jointly whatever, on this concept of respect for women, gender justice. I will not say gender parity, isn't it? Gender equality. Certainly, gender justice, respect for women, and we may extend it to the idea of sexual harassment. My dear young scholars of Islamic studies, I need not say that we were just discussing the point of gender justice. The Quran is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Look at this amazing fact. The Quran presents, we all know Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as the role model. At the same time, it presents two women as role models. One is Maryam and the other is the wife of Pharaoh in Surah Raheem. Look at that. In the Quran, generally the misperception is there is no woman prophet. True, technically there is no woman prophet. But it is amazing to note that ayah after ayah, passages after passages, they are devoted to Maryam. Before birth, her birth, then are giving birth to someone as distinguished as Prophet Isa alayhi salam, then the constant communication between Maryam and angels and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is an example of communication between Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Prophet Musa's mother. So women, they have a very prominent, respectable place in the Quranic scheme of things. As I said, maybe technically they are not prophets, but they certainly deserve our utmost respect, fairness, equality. That's the message of Islam. That's why I requested my colleague, Prof. So in the light, if this message is presented in the light of the life-giving message of Islam, it will have a greater impact on the students and on the campus. That Islamic message is totally against any disrespect or unfairness to women. Right, as far as this topic is there, I will present before you a few ahadith. We have already taken out the Quranic passage which is most relevant on it, that is on that the verses of Surah Al-Hujurat. While I am discussing Surah Al-Hujurat, I will draw your attention also to verse number 11 of this surah, best verse in the Quran, which will help you throughout your life. What is this verse 11 of Surah Al-Hujurat? Inna akramakum innallaha atqakum. The most honorable one among you is not a wealthy person, not a scholar in a technical sense having degrees and this and that. Someone who is muttaqi. And please keep in mind, muttaqi does not mean someone sitting in a corner, praying all the time, having a bead and reciting the name of Allah. This is totally false and misleading definition of taqwa. Taqwa means God awareness. The idea that there is God and God is watching you. You are here, you are all a student, you are attending an academic program. This is taqwa, because you are doing it according to these commands of God. At night, after day's work, you go to sleep. This is also taqwa, because you are following the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So taqwa need not have any formal sense. So look, this is Allah's promise to us that He loves him or her most who is aware of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not asking you to pray all the time or to give money all the time, just having at the back of your mind the belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's what is required, and if we follow this, our life will be like paradise in this earth. As far as this particular topic is there, writing in the Islamic context, we have already taken note of this Surah Al-Hujurat. I will now present before you a few more Quranic verses and ahadith to give you a better idea. We have verse 195 of Surah Al-Baqarah, which says, "Do not destroy yourself." अपने आप को हिलाकत में मत डालो। क्या है इसमें आइडिया? रैगिंग है ये अपने आप को हिलाक करने का है, सेल्फ डिस्ट्रक्शन है। मैं इसका कंपटीशन सुसाइड नहीं कर रहा हूँ, सेल्फ डिस्ट्रक्शन कर रहा हूँ। ये जो आप सीनियर हैं, इत्तेफाक की बात है, आप 2 साल पहले आ गए, ये जो आपके बराबर में बैठी हुई बच्ची, ये इसने इस साल ज्वाइन किया, इसमें उसकी कोई कसूर नहीं है, कोई खतरा नहीं है कि 2 साल बाद आई। इसके भी उतनी फीलिंग्स हैं, इसके भी उतने इमोशंस हैं जितने आपके हैं। अब आप 2 साल पहले आ गए, इस सिर्फ इस फ्लिम्सी ग्राउंड पे, बेसलेस, जिसमें कोई सब्सटेंस नहीं, उस ग्राउंड पे आप उसको टीच कर रहे हैं, उसको टॉर्चर कर रहे हैं, उसको रिडिक्यूल कर रहे हैं, उसकी सेल्फ रेस्पेक्ट को तबाह कर रहे हैं। अब वो उस वक्त जूनियर है, खामोश हो जाएगी, लिहाज करेगी या डर से, लेकिन उस दिल में जो एक नफरत आती है पैदा हो, जो आपके खिलाफ ये जज्बा पैदा होगा, दिस इज व्हाट इज सेल्फ डिस्ट्रक्शन. By ridiculing him, you are inviting your own destruction. In 2 years' time, she will be senior, she will prove even superior to you academically in whatever way, then where will you be? So this is ragging is related to this Quranic directive of avoiding self-destruction. Because we know all that this very idea of ragging, or what we call as introduction, is about attacking someone's dignity, someone's respect, someone's personality, and that's totally something un-Islamic as we quoted in the light of this student. Then there are some ahadith. The hadith है रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम की तमाम अहादीस ऐसी हैं जो आपको तवज्जो देना चाहिए. आज से मुतालिक हदीस है रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम ने फरमाया, मुसलमान वो है जिसकी ज़बान और हाथ से दूसरे मुसलमान महफूज रहें, और ये सही बुखारी की is that person whose tongue and hand they are not abused against others. Look, it is not about just violence and fighting. Look at the word tongue. Tongue in the sense of very much includes the concept of this bragging or ridiculing or mocking. Someone in the context of university, students are in general in our social life, we should avoid this backbiting. That's what the Prophet just explained. The same verse of Surah Aligarh says that keep away from backbiting. Why backbiting? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses a metaphor, such a repulsive metaphor, that backbiting is like, would you love to eat the flesh of your dead brother? Eating the flesh of a dead body itself is something very repulsive and repulsive. And look, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, the flesh of your dead brother. So every, not Muslim, every human being, whether Muslim or non-Muslim, is your brother or sister. Why? They all are creatures of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So making fun of them, ridiculing them, mocking them, disparaging them, fighting them, condemning them, hating them, all this goes against the principles of the Quran and Sunnah. And I just recited this hadith from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Right. Next, there is another hadith again in Bukhari. It says, तुम में से उस वक्त तक कोई मुकम्मल मुसलमान नहीं हो सकता जब तक वो अपने भाई के लिए वही पसंद न करे जो अपने लिए पसंद करता है. Again, what does it mean? What does it teach? Fair treatment, equal respect for everyone. क्या फरमा रहे रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम कि ईमान के मुकम्मल होने की शर्त ये है कि आप अपने लिए वही पसंद करें और जो अपने लिए जो पसंद करते हैं वही दूसरे के लिए. जिस तरह आप नहीं कहते कोई आपकी बेइज्जती करे, आप कोई मजाक उड़ाए, आप पे कोई ताना दे, आप पे कोई फतवा कसे, तो उसका तकाजा है कि आप भी दूसरे के साथ ऐसा सलूक न करें. और जब तक ये सिफत आप में पैदा नहीं होगी, आपका ईमान मुकम्मल है. इट इज नॉट समथिंग minor or trivial, it is something very serious. It is directly related to faith and human right. So that way, the concept of ragging is totally un-Islamic. Right. We all listen to Friday khutbah sermon. It carries the verse 90 of Surah Al-Aligarh. Justice, fairness, equal treatment. Look, Allah and the Prophet, they have made this arrangement of year, every Friday, this ayah is part of the Friday sermon. And what does this ayah teach us? It teaches us that Allah commands you to do justice and to be fair to all those who are around you. That includes class fellows, that includes juniors, that includes everyone in society. And of course, the ayah also says Allah forbids obscenity. Writing is a kind of obscenity. You use vulgar language generally for degrading, discrediting someone. You use vulgar, obscene language. So that idea is covered by this verse was. And I don't have to say that ragging has a traumatic effect on young students. These students, they feel traumatized, agony, social, they feel under tremendous stress, and that again is something against the principles of Islam. Allah and the Prophet do not allow that you inflict pain on others. And when it is, we know all very well, is something highly painful and traumatic for the new students. So please keep away from it. On the contrary, throughout, if you read the Quran and Hadith, Islam promotes the idea of brotherhood, fraternity, closer relations among Muslims, and of course in the Muslim all Muslims are brethren. And it is not gender specific, it includes men and women, so they form one single family or fraternity. And being the creatures of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, all human beings, whether they are non-Muslim, they are also part of the same human family. So we have to be just. We should be full of love and consideration and concern for everyone, because that's what Islam teaches, that we should treat the entire humanity as a family, as a unit. Again, this point, I'm just trying to sum it up. Islam does not condone or endorse any kind of discrimination or partisanship. So this discrimination between the senior and the junior, the young and the old, that is something un-Islamic, and that's why again ragging has no place at all in the Islamic scheme of things. So academic institutions, I don't have to say, they stand for enlightenment. They stand for critical inquiry. They stand for inclusiveness. They stand for learning, not just your textbook and syllabus that has to be done, but a university is a place for intellectual development, for broadening mental horizon, for learning various skills, not just passing the examination. That is only a very limited and narrow part I'm now addressing my students. It is a golden opportunity for Oxford and Harvard. They are not famous for their buildings. If you look at buildings of some of the buildings of Oxford University, you will laugh. Isn't it? 17th century, 18th century, narrow, small rooms, isn't it? Their syllabus is not again something very extraordinary. You can see it on the internet. What makes Oxford is their curriculum, the entire atmosphere on the campus, the various groups, societies, discussions, skills, interaction, and the kind of fellow feeling, and that's what Aligarh was also known at a time, and I'm sure under the leadership of our lady Vice Chancellor, this spirit of fraternity She has done a tremendous job of cleaning the hostels because of the illegal occupation. So now, because the hostels they have been cleared of illegal occupants, I am sure the halls of residence they will buzz with constructive, literary and positive activities, and that is in every person's interest. I wish you the best. Thank you very much.